Hey guys, just wanted to take a quick minute, kind of go over the benefits of ceramic tinting your vehicle. This particular vehicle is a Jeep Wagoneer Series 3 that I've recently had ceramic tinted, and I've also applied a crystalline film to the panoramic sunroofs over the first and second row, and then in the Wagoneer series, your third row passengers also get their own sunroof and sunshade, so we put a crystalline over that as well. The particular film that we used for this was 3M, and it's a ceramic IR series. Basically all of the vertical windows, all the way around, we applied the 3M ceramic IR film, and then anything that's up top for the sunroof up here, that's going to be the crystalline series. So without further ado, we put 15% tint on the front driver and passenger side mirrors, and then the second row, third row, and rear hatch we did a 35% tint. The reason for the difference is the vehicle already comes with a factory OEM tint on the second and third row in the rear hatch. So to kind of keep things closely matched, we went with 15% on the front, 35% on the back. Anything you apply over the factory OEM tint is going to make that a little darker. So I'm certainly pleasantly surprised, and I like the look. I didn't want to go any darker on the front. The only other option would go 5%. That would probably be a true match all the way around. But I notice I do a lot of nighttime driving, and the 5% is just too dark for me to be able to really see out of my side windows. So I wanted to keep it at 15 just so I still am able to see when I'm driving at night. So that's basically the look from the outside. Let's go ahead and get into the second row here, and hopefully I'll be able to give you kind of a better look at the difference from the inside of the vehicle. Hopefully this is a good comparison. You can kind of see this back is going to be your 35% over the factory OEM, and the front is just going to be 15%. So you do just see that the back has a slightly darker tint to it. Again, I'm perfectly fine with that. Just appearance sake on the outside, I don't think that there's much difference. You can tell slightly that the front does not have as much tint on it. But again, I was perfectly fine with that. I wanted to get as close of a match as I could without sacrificing my visibility of seeing at night. And then for the panoramic sunroof, we just applied, I think it was a 70% crystalline. There really is no tint applied to that. It's pretty clear, as you can see. This is getting towards the evening hours. The sun hasn't set yet, but it's not just the brightness of the day coming through, so that might be why it appears a little darker. But the crystalline is all over the sunroof at this point. So questions: what can you expect? What are some things that you may notice right away that might turn you off, or that you didn't expect or didn't anticipate? I can tell you that you have to let the film set up. Typically that takes 3 to 5 days, and then the curing process will roughly take somewhere between 7 to 14 days. Within that first, call it 3 to 5 days, they recommend that you don't roll the windows down, but you may also notice that there could be some cloudiness in the mirrors. Also, especially with the ceramic series, when you do have direct sunlight that hits it, it may appear to be a brownish color. Just time is your best friend in that instance. Don't hop in the vehicle as soon as the window tint is done and see that there's some cloudiness or a brown shade to it and automatically think that you've made the worst decision of your life. Give it some time. That cloudiness will go away. That brown hue will go away once the film sets up. For everybody, it's going to be a little different. If you park your vehicle outside in the sun and it's in the heat all day long, it's going to set up much quicker than someone who parks their vehicle in a climate-controlled garage, and it rarely sees the light of outside. For that particular person, I would say you're probably going to want to wait at least the 5 days, and as far as the curing process goes, it'll probably take closer to that 14-day mark to really make sure that everything sets up, if it's just going to be parked in your garage the majority of the time. So that's kind of the first glaring piece that most people go, oh, I didn't really realize this. Just give it some time, and like I said, it will set up. If for whatever reason, if you wait 3 to 5 days and you're just not comfortable or you're anxious, certainly go back to your installer. Let them know. Accidents do happen. This is a manual process that's done by professionals. Not saying that a mistake was made, but every now and then something has to be redone. And so just work with them. I'm sure they will get you in as quickly as possible. I've never had to have on any of my personal vehicles, I've never had to have something taken off and reapplied. So I would say just make sure, ask all your questions, make sure you go to a reputable installer. I was not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by the installer that did mine down in Georgia in Woodstock. If you're in the area, the Tint guy, they do a fantastic job. They've done several of my vehicles. They've got a ton of great reviews. So if you're in the North Atlanta metro area, certainly look them up. Again, they did not give me a discount. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by them. They've just always provided outstanding service to me, and have gone above and beyond to explain things to customers as they walk in. And so I can gladly give them a great glowing recommendation for the future. As far as how well it dissipates heat, what can you expect? I will say that it's not a miracle film that has automatic air conditioning properties to it. If it's hot outside and your vehicle is sitting outside, the inside of your car, if you just unlock it, get in it, it is going to be warm. I'm not going to say if it's a 100-degree day that it's going to be 100 degrees in the car, but without the car being on, without any sort of climate control happening, that's just nature of the beast. That's going to happen no matter what you do. If it's hot, it's going to be hot inside the vehicle. If it's cold, it's going to be cold inside the vehicle. I don't feel personally that it gets as hot. And the one thing that you'll really notice, since it does have a UV blocker, that it's almost like if you just feel the warmth of the sun on a cold day, you may be cold as could be, but once that sun breaks through the clouds, you just sit there and go, oh, that feels so warm. You do feel that warmth that comes through the glass. So it's kind of that warm, fuzzy feeling, but you don't feel the heat, nor do you get any of the UV coming through. So your leather surfaces are not going to be so burning hot that you can't sit down, as well as if you're driving, or you're in the front for that matter. Typically, anybody who's done this with vehicles in the past that haven't been tinted, right? Whatever arm is up on the steering wheel is always a shade darker than your other arm. And you usually have a spot somewhere between mid-thigh and your kneecap where you also have a sunburn, or it's a little darker just from the shade or the sun coming through the mirror and hitting that spot. You won't get any of that as well because there is such a high UV blocker in the ceramic and the crystalline. You don't get any of that burning sensation. And like I said, to that extent of keeping your leather surfaces and keeping everything cooler to the touch, I can say that it dissipates heat in that sense. It just doesn't automatically cool your car. If it's 100 degrees outside, don't expect to get in your car and have it be a crisp 72. That's just not going to happen. Really where this shines is once you have the vehicle started, your vehicle is going to cool down much, much quicker, and it will stay cooler as you're driving around, as you're in the sun. Like I said, you won't get that burning sensation on any of the surfaces, and you won't feel that heat that's coming through. So for people with remote start, what I would recommend is before you come out, if it's a hot day, remote start the car, let it start to cool itself down. By the time you get in the vehicle will be by far cooler. I won't say cold, but it just depends on your vehicle and how hot it is where you are. But it will certainly cool the vehicle down quicker, and it will be much more comfortable when you do decide to get in. I've had the ceramic on a couple of vehicles. I have never tinted it all the way around and done the sunroof. I do feel that's a worthwhile cause. Typically, I've just left the factory OEM tint on the back, and I've tinted the front windows with a ceramic tint. Now that I've done it all the way around and I've done the sunroof, I do feel the car stays cooler. And this is a black car, a very big black car that absorbs a lot of the sun, absorbs a lot of heat. So for the vehicle to stay as cool as it does, I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm happy with the results. Hopefully this helps some of you out there. Feel free to like, subscribe. I've got a lot of things that I want to do, both Wagoneer related and just vehicle related, tips and tricks that I learn along the way that may help someone else out. If you agree with this, or if you have Crystalline or 3M ceramic IR or another brand ceramic film on your vehicle, feel free to drop some comments below. Let everybody know whether you like it, whether you don't like it, agree, disagree, and let's see where everybody falls. I will say that the last thing, and I'll close with this, just so everybody knows why I went with two different films. The ceramic IR has a colorway that most closely matches the factory OEM tint that's on the vehicle, and I wanted to keep it as close to factory as possible. The Crystalline, which is on the sunroof, you can't really tell because there's not much tint to it, but the Crystalline does have a bluish hue to it, and I don't believe that the Crystalline films can go as dark as what the ceramic IR films do. But for me personally, besides the percentage of tint, really the reason I did not go with the Crystalline is because I did not want that blue hue over the vehicle. So that was my reasoning for going with the ceramic IR on the majority of the glass, and then I went with the Crystalline on the roof. For those of you who are just simply looking to keep your car cooler, but not necessarily apply tint, you may find that Crystalline is going to be a better bet for you. It's just all depends on personal preference and what vehicle you have and what you would like to do with it. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for joining. Again, feel free to like and subscribe so I can continue content in the future, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.